In this video, we'll go through the real reasons why Charles Oliveira will dominate Arman Tsarukyan in their upcoming fight at UFC 300. Let's get right into it. Number 4. Delusional Arman. The delusion of Arman radiating from his interviews seems to be on a different level.
Charles, he has some more weaknesses. So his weakness, he doesn't know freestyle wrestling. Took him down, it's very easy. So, yeah.
Charles the Bronx took down Justin Gaethje. Charles the Bronx took down Dustin Poirier. The dude has wrestling. He prefers to be on his back, but because he's a big 155-pounder, I could see him going for takedowns. I really could.
Olympic wrestling champion thinks that Charles has wrestling, but not the young and up-and-comer. Charles Oliveira is a monster. There have been many elite fighters who have underestimated the savagery of Oliveira and paid the price for it.
To show me that he's not a quitter, because nothing has showed me that.
You know, my last fight, Charles was brilliant, and he hurt me often. He hurt me early. 10 seconds in, I was, really hurt, and probably 4 times after that, I felt something I've never felt in a cage.
Charles Oliveira is the greatest two-way finisher in UFC history and has submitted both Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier in the starting 2 rounds of their fight. But according to Arman Tsarukyan, it is impossible to choke someone in the first 2 rounds.
First two rounds, it's almost impossible to choke high-level fighter.
Imagine thinking that before fighting the greatest submission artist in UFC history. The delusion of Arman radiating from his interviews seems to be on a different level. There's no denying, Arman might be surprised by the challenge that awaits him at UFC 300 in the form of the greatest finisher in UFC history. Number 3. Oliveira is lethal. When 2 high-level grapplers fight, it's always the striking that decides the winner. Charles Oliveira is clearly the technically superior striker to Arman, as elucidated out by the Weasel.
On the feet, he's explosive, right? Arman's a very fast puncher. He throws up unpredictable kicks. He's very, very explosive with everything he does. But Oliveira, I think, is technically superior to Arman Tsarukyan. The thing here is, Arman makes a lot of mistakes in the stand-up, and even paid for it when he fought guys like Mateusz Gamrot of all fighters.
There's no doubt Oliveira makes a lot of mistakes on the feet too, but Charles is a much more powerful puncher than Arman and has a much higher chance of dismantling Arman on the feet. The crazy pressure of Charles Oliveira is hard to stop if you can't gain his respect by way of power punches.
He puts himself in danger. He doesn't fight safe. He doesn't fight to try to outpoint you. He doesn't fight tactically, where he's trying to get the least amount of damage and drag you into deep water and then strategically try to take you out the 4th and 5th round. No, from the moment the first bell rings, he's coming at you,
engaging,
guns blazing.
Yeah.
With the danger that Oliveira brings with such a mix of lethal attacks, it is important for the opponents to be careful and calculated. But Charles Oliveira does not allow his opponents to be prudent. He puts you in the fire right when the first round bell rings.
You could argue that for Charles Oliveira, the reason he is so exciting is because he gets dropped, is because he finds himself in bad positions. And as I say, that's never planned, but it makes for a fantastic fight. As a fan, you're sitting on the edge of your seat and you're loving every single second of it, okay?
Even heavy-handed lightweights like Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje were not able to slow down and deter Oliveira. So it's suffice to assume that Arman would be unable to slow down Oliveira, and this would favor Oliveira in a 3-round fight. Wrestling becomes much more effective in the 4th and 5th rounds of the fight, but unfortunately for Arman, there will be no 4th or 5th round. The MMA guru in his fight breakdown video also shed light on how a 3-rounder favors Oliveira.
I like that this is a 3-rounder for Oliveira as well, because I feel like he can maybe out-damage Arman Tsarukyan in certain rounds. But yeah, I'm going to go Oliveira.
Number 2. Don't jump on a python snake. The great Teddy Atlas compared jumping into Oliveira's guard with jumping onto a python snake.
When you got a guy like Oliveira who's so damn good on a mat with the jiu-jitsu and obviously with all that, I mean, it's like jumping on a python snake. You know, not too many people want to jump on a python snake because it'll wrap itself around you before you know it, and you think that you could use your physicality, and before you know it, you can't because you missed it, and it's around you, it's wrapped around your neck, your torso, and everything else.
Josh Thompson also shed light on what it's like to be in Oliveira's guard.
John, you get to that top position against Charles Oliveira. Look, everything comes from every different angle. He's pushing the elbow across. He's hitting the triangle. He's looking to sweep. He's not just trying to hit off of his back submission triangle armbar. He's looking for it all. He's going omoplata. He's looking to sweep to get to the top position from omoplata. He's going armbar, hooking the inside of the leg, sweeping you over. He's not messing around.
Arman has a tendency to panic shoot whenever he gets hurt on the feet. This tendency will make him vulnerable to the lethal submission game of Charles Oliveira, and most of Oliveira's finishes come via submission.
62% of his wins come via submissions. We're talking about triangles, we're talking about arm triangles, we're talking about omoplatas, we're talking about twisters, and we're talking about guillotines, we're talking about back takes.
Oliveira's guard is lethal not only because of the submissions, but also the fact that he is really good at throwing strikes from the bottom and making his opponents bleed with the sharp and precise elbows.
Oliveira is probably one of the best in the game at wrapping up those submissions mid-fight. And his instincts on when to attack him is phenomenal.
I've seen a lot of jiu-jitsu in my days. I've rarely seen anyone compete in MMA that closes the show like Oliveira when the fight goes to the ground.
Only time will tell whether or not Arman is even going to take the risk of going into Oliveira's guard. However, Arman and Arman's coach, Harumpa, have come out and said that Arman will take Oliveira down and go into his guard. No doubt this will make this fight very interesting. This lack of fear from Arman and his coaches could be the reason for his downfall, as pointed out by Josh Thompson in the Weighing In podcast.
I don't think Arman Tsarukyan in any fashion is going to fear. He'll respect, but he's not going to fear Charles Oliveira's ground game.
That could be his downfall, though, right there.
Number 1. Technical breakdown.
He hasn't fought anyone that we've seen of the style that Charles Oliveira brings.
Well put.
What is it about Charles Oliveira's style that makes him so tough to deal with? Let's dive into it. Tsarukyan's best weapon is his kicks. Arman throws really accurate and powerful kicks up top and down, and Oliveira has a very up-close, high-pressure fighting style and does not let you breathe. His pressure will make it much harder for Arman to throw effective kicks. Most of Arman's feinting game is feigning takedowns, which makes him vulnerable to vicious knees that Charles throws.
I actually feel like Oliveira's style is really good to work against Arman Tsarukyan because he has that very head-first, chin-tucked, prodding, danger with hooks, Brazilian striking style that worked for Joaquin Silva in his fight with Arman Tsarukyan, and other opponents have had success on the feet as well, just sort of keeping very composed and dangerous on the feet with Arman Tsarukyan.
The fact that Arman is much shorter than Charles also makes him a clear target for high kicks and jumping knees straight to the chin. Oliveira has been in the UFC for a long time, and he's 34 now. He only has a couple years left in his prime. Let's all appreciate Oliveira while he's still here. This is a beautiful matchup, and fireworks are assured. Every fight with Charles Oliveira is an exciting fight.
What happens when you have two dudes that are unwilling to give up? Fireworks. An absolute explosion.
If Charles Oliveira is able to knock out or submit Arman, then the fight versus Makhachev becomes even bigger, because it would be crystal clear that Charles has cleared out the lightweight division completely, and the excitement will be palpable. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to our channel and turn your notifications on. Also, don't forget to hit the like button. Thanks a lot for watching.